Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Otaku Heaven coming at you with another episode review. Today I'll be reviewing Agent Episode 7. Now, this episode sets into play a lot of big things. For instance, the agents are finally coming together. They're planning on potentially, I believe, fighting off the government and their despicable ways of basically taking all the agents and doing whatever they want to with them, continuously killing them, trying to test their highest pain threshold to see if there is a way that they can actually fully kill them other than the way that Mr. Sato has already explained. Now, we've also seen in the early part of this episode that Tosaki was actually offered a promotion in exchange for his silence and his cooperation, and he would be rewarded with vast amounts of wealth. Basically, they use these agents to trust a bunch of medical advancements for humans and a bunch of things along that nature. Basically anything that would use a lab rat for, or any kind of dummy they can basically uh, expedite human based experiments and just use them on the agents instead of humans, because the agents can just die and recuperate from that, which is kind of logical, but it's kind of fucked up at the same time because they're forcing it on them and they're taking all their other rights away at the same time. If it was something they were offered to be willing to do in exchange for a large amount of money and they still had all their other rights that weren't being pursued by the police all the time, that'd be a completely different story, but that's not what it's like. And Mr. Sato, basically, in this episode, he did some pretty genius shit, calling for a protest and leaking videos of the agents actually being tortured in order to have the agents distinguish the real video from the fake and have them all appear in their agent form, or have their agents appear in one area in order to disclose the actual location of their real meeting so they can start sort of like an agent base. According to Mr. Sato, I believe that's what's going to be happening pretty soon. And we got to see later on about how and why Tazaki is actually doing this. He's basically, his wife or fiance is suffering all of this all these bad medical conditions, and she's basically swamped in all of her parents' medical bills, so there's no way she can pay for it. So Tosaki's going to do whatever he can, even if basically throwing other people into the depths of hell, aka the Aijins, or hurting anyone along the way that he needs to in order to make her happy. He's basically completely in love with this girl, so he's going to do whatever he can to make her happy, and which is very understandable, but very messed up at the same time. So you can look at it both ways. You can look at it as he's okay for doing this, or you can hate him for it. But either way, he's actually doing it, so there's really nothing you can say about it. But overall, I think I see where Tozaki's coming from, and I think it's going to be extremely interesting where Mr. Sato goes with this, what facilities he plans on invading, and what the if the scientist is actually dead. I didn't really understand the whole part. The scientist Oga, that Tozaki said that he replaced him or something with someone that looks like him, but he seemed to be talking as if he were the same type of person. So maybe he didn't kill the scientist, and he was talking about replacing that one lackey that he killed, the big buff lackey. But I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Anyway, Mr. Sato deviously planned all this ruse, the elaborate ruse, in order to get the whole Agent Alliance, quote unquote, together. And it's going to be very interesting, like I said, to see what they assault on first, and if Nagai K actually comes back to try to help him, or if they actually wants to kill Nagai K, like he said prior to that, because he did just say Nagai K was acting weird, so maybe he doesn't hold as much resentment as we originally thought he held for Nagai K, or maybe he's just going to kill Nagai K in order to bring back a new form of Nagai K in order to work with him. But obviously the story wouldn't allow that because he is the main character. But I'm more interested to see what's going on with Ko, if Ko is going to pop back up in the story and wind up meeting up with K again, or if K is going to go running back to Ko right now. I'm not sure about what's going to happen with all that. But that's more interesting than what Mr. Sato's got going on, in my opinion. I'm really interested to see what Ko's doing, if he ever safely made it out, which we pretty much can assume he did. But if he's going to link back up with K, that's going to be pretty interesting. But anyway, this episode was pretty good in the sense that it advanced the plot a lot. Nothing really happened other than, a huge amount of plot progression and a little bit more insight on why Tosaki does everything that he does. And we didn't have we haven't got anything on Tasaki's partner yet. I'm more interested in her too. She's she excites my interest, sort of like Sally does from Black Clover. If you watch my Black Clover reviews, but it's very it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens with her, even more than Ko. So if I laid out my interest, it would be Tasaki's partner, then Ko, and then what Mr. Sato's got going on, because what Mr. Sato's got going on is really commonplace in a bunch of different anime for an organization to come together to try to fight something that's basically corrupt. And especially with the agents, I mean, you had to have seen this coming. But anyway, this chapter is about an 8 out of 10. I found it pretty good, and it gave an excellent amount of plot progression and character progression with Tosaki. But that's all, guys. Peace.